Ice, snow, and, well, more ice. Sounds fun, right? Wrong. You've just been born as a polar bear cub, and let me tell you, your life is about to be one frosty roller coaster of survival, hunger, and absolutely no Wi-Fi. Your grand entrance? Not so grand. You're born blind, deaf, and about as helpless as a marshmallow in a snowstorm. Thankfully, your mom has been fasting for months just to keep you warm and safe in her cozy snow den. But don't get too comfortable, because life as a polar bear is anything but easy. You spend your first 2 months snug inside the snow den, oblivious to the Arctic chaos outside. Meanwhile, Mum hasn't eaten a single seal burrito in months. She's basically running on fumes, all so you can stay alive. Fast forward a bit, and it's time for your big debut. You crawl out of the den for the first time, and it's a surprise! The Arctic wind slaps you in the face like an angry ice queen. The snow is blinding, the cold is bone-chilling, and your paws? Yeah, about as useful as flip-flops in a snowstorm. You stumble, you trip, and you face-plant into the snow more times than you'd like to admit. Here's the kicker. You've barely mastered walking, and your mum's already leading you on a trek across the icy wilderness. Why? Because it's hunting season, and seals aren't going to catch themselves. Now, let's talk about food. Polar bears love seals. They're basically the pizza of the Arctic. Delicious, nutritious, and annoyingly hard to catch. Your mom is a seal hunting pro. She finds a hole in the ice, waits for hours, and bam, nails it with a precision that would make a ninja jealous. You, on the other hand, are just a hungry spectator. Every time Mum catches a seal, you're hoping for a bite, but nope, she needs that meal to keep her energy up. You'll get your turn eventually, but for now, you're stuck watching the Arctic's most intense cooking show without getting to taste the food. Just when you think things can't get worse, a blizzard rolls in. The wind howls, the snow flies, and the temperature drops to a level that makes your fur feel like a thin sweater. You huddle against Mom, using her as a shield from the icy onslaught. But the Arctic doesn't care about your struggles. It keeps throwing blizzards your way, as if to remind you that being a polar bear isn't for the faint of heart. Your fur grows thicker with each passing day, but even nature's warmest coat can't make up for the fact that you're basically living in a freezer. After a couple of years, you're no longer the tiny, clumsy cub trailing after Mom. You're bigger, stronger, and ready to learn the ways of the Arctic. And that means one thing. It's time to hunt. Seal hunting, as it turns out, is less exciting chase scene and more hours of freezing your butt off while staring at a hole in the ice. You wait, you watch, and just when you think you've got it figured out, the seal escapes. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, but eventually you manage to catch your first seal. And let me tell you, it tastes like Victoria. Now that you've mastered hunting, you'd think life gets easier. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Being an adult polar bear is a constant battle against hunger, rivals, and, climate change. Now that you've mastered hunting, you'd think life gets easier. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Being an adult polar bear is a constant battle against hunger, rivals, and, climate change. Let's talk about the ice. It's melting faster than your patience, forcing you to swim longer distances just to find solid ground. Swimming might sound fun, but when you're paddling through freezing water for miles, It feels less like a vacation and more like an Arctic triathlon. And then there are the rival bears. Every now and then you cross paths with another polar bear, and let's just say these encounters are less friendly chat and more territorial UFC match. You fight, you growl, and if you're lucky, you come out on top. If not, well, it's back to wandering the Arctic, nursing your bruised ego. As the years go by, the Arctic takes its toll. Your once powerful body grows slower. Your hunts become harder, and the ice you've called home for years keeps disappearing. By the time you reach your twilight years, you've seen it all. Blizzards, rival bears, shrinking ice, and more seal hunts than you can count. Life as a polar bear is a relentless fight for survival, and eventually even the toughest bears start to slow down. Here's the thing, polar bears are survivors. They've adapted to the Arctic's harsh conditions for thousands of years, and their story is one of resilience, strength, and determination. So, next time you see a polar bear, remember their story, and maybe, just maybe, consider what you can do to help protect their icy home for them and for the future of our planet. And that, my friends, is why it sucks to be born as a polar bear. From freezing blizzards to endless seal hunts to a rapidly changing habitat, it's a life full of challenges. But through it all, polar bears remain one of the most iconic and awe-inspiring creatures on Earth.